afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve here. And on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the charts of Match, Horizon, and NVIDIA. But first, we need to take a look at those major indexes. So we're starting off the day with a look at the NASDAQ here, and it was a pretty weak close, Ken. We had very solid gains, especially for the tech-heavy index intraday, but faded into the close and closing with a gain of about 0.5%, and the Dow really kind of fell off the table there towards the end of the session, closing down almost 1%.
Yeah, well, the selling definitely seemed most pronounced in the Dow Jones and also the S&P 500. The Nasdaq also closed in the bottom half of its range. It had been holding a solid gain of 1% pretty much all day until the final hour of trading, and it, like you said, it pretty much have that 1% gain to close 0.5% higher. But have to say, below the surface again, saw a lot of good action in individual growth stocks, some good earnings reports. So bottom line, we're still in a confirmed uptrend here. And just taking a look at volume, looks like NASDAQ volume is going to be lower. Might be a close call on the NYSE, but this uptrend has worked very well due to very, very light distribution in the market.
Yeah, that it has. And speaking of growth stocks that are acting well, let's check in on Match. A very strong day here, closing with a gain of 9%, slightly above average volume with the move coming on earnings. And nice to see Match closing at the top of its trading range, whereas we did broadly see a lot of fading into the close.
Yeah, this stock was particularly impressive. I mentioned the late selling in the indexes, but Match closed pretty much at its session high. Pretty clear pivot point here of 83.59, so we would put a buy point here of 83.69. And again, the rule is you don't want to chase a stock when it moves more than 5% past a buy point. So Match is probably kind of borderline extended at this point, but very bullish day for the stock. You had a nice 17% rise in revenue, 544.6 million. Looks like tender growth is slowing a little bit, so that's a little bit of a question mark, but really solid day for the stock.
Yes, also a very solid day for Horizon Therapeutics with a gain of 14%. Very heavy turnover here. A nice gap out of the base. That relative strength line hitting a new high. Bullish to see that metric there as well.
Yeah, a lot of biotech stocks acting really well in the market, and Horizon Therapeutics, not to be confused with Horizon Pharmaceuticals, two different companies.
Right.
So Horizon Therapeutics is HZNP, and this is just really what a classic gap up out of a 4-month consolidation looks like. It was a really nice earnings report. You can see at the bottom of the MarketSmith chart, earnings up 42% year over year. Those results were more than double expectations, a nice increase in sales too. So they have a gout treatment that's doing very well, sales up 78% to 93.3 million, and then a drug approved in January to treat thyroid eye disease had its first quarter of full sales, and the company said the drug performed much better than expected. So a lot of buyers in Horizon today.
Yeah, and this just goes to show you there's definitely a reason why we want to be focusing on those strong technicals in the chart and strong fundamentals as well. Seeing those hand in hand can provide some pretty compelling buying opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of biotechs can be very, very super speculative because of no
Hmm.
earnings and no sales and a lot of drugs in the pipeline. But there's a lot of profitable biotechs out there like Horizon Therapeutics. You can see the really strong bottom line and top line growth in recent quarters. And they've got a big annual earnings estimate for 2021. So this was a good breakout today and definitely a biotech to watch.
And a fan favorite in the chip group, NVIDIA, is nearing a new buy point ahead of its quarterly earnings report on May 21st. We still do have a little bit of ways to go here, Ken, before that report. So potentially enough time to build a cushion here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why the Nasdaq did well today, there was a lot of a lot of chip stocks that performed pretty well. The group or the sector, I should say, got off to a good start Wednesday. Chip equipment firm KLA had a good earnings report, but still like the look of Nvidia here. This is actually technically still forming the right side of a base, and it's just been kind of floating around the 300 level. So I would still call this stock a breakout candidate. It's just kind of biding time here near 300. So if it can break out over its recent high of around 304, that would definitely qualify as a technical breakout. And the last thing I would say about NVIDIA is that this is a stock that always tends to sell at a premium in
Mm,
the chip sector, but when they report earnings in on May 21st, their revenues are expected to be up 35% year over year, with earnings up 92%. So sometimes stocks with high PE ratios that seem to be selling at a hefty premium, there's often a very bullish growth story that goes along with these high premiums. I
right.
think Nvidia has it.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good point there, Ken. Thank you all so much for watching. And you can bet that the conversation will continue tomorrow morning on IBD Live. It's been a very interesting week so far, another big earnings week. So, a lot of opportunities out there for investors.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll be back on the air for IBD Live talking about, I'm sure we'll be talking about Peloton earnings and Fortinet. There's a whole bunch of companies reporting after the close and some reports in the morning too. So that'll be the focus.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow.